What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to, I don't remember what number, Pay-Per-Viewpoint this week of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. It's the WWE Evolution post-show for 2025. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and I'm joined, as always, by Robert D. Felice.
Well, not as always. I've been fortunate enough to do 2 review podcasts with you this weekend.
It's been a while, yeah. But
and I'm glad to
somehow
be
this
here.
weekend it worked out.
But the only number you need to know is 2, because
60,
we're covering Evolution 2. Not that number, not for this show.
Well, tell that to my other group chats. We have some very important things to break down, actually, for this card and for what happened here. So, as usual, if you did not check out the show and you don't want to know what happened, like, I don't know why you would click on a review show if you didn't want to know the spoilers at that frame, but, you know, just be sure. We're going to tell you the match results. We're also going to tell you our review of everything that happened that we had seen and all the predictions and stuff going forward that we think are going to come out of this. So as I always suggest for everybody, whether you're in the live chat or you're listening to this after the fact, leave your comments too. I always want to know what you guys have to say. What were your favorite things? What were your least favorite things? Where do you think this is going? All that good stuff. Do that on YouTube if you are on YouTube. If you are on Discord, that's another great way for you to chat it up and just give your thoughts and all. You know, every once in a while I see a new person just drip into the Discord, and you're all welcome. It's always great to see a new name pop up. If you are on YouTube, though, make sure that you also hit the like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell, get your email alert set up. Maybe you didn't know that we were going live for this and you didn't get that email. That's how you do it. If you want to help us out on the monetary side of things, patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. The thanks button over there on YouTube, and also the join button will give you access to the YouTube channel membership. Same tiers as Patreon. $1 a month, greatly appreciated. Everything up beyond that too. The Darkcast tier, the Pick Poison tier, my personal favorites, and the ones that you get something directly out of supporting us. See, Peter was in the chat. What's up, Peter? Tell us what you thought about Evolution. I am not listening to the post show for context. I don't know if anybody's going to say anything different or interesting or whatever.
I will be putting it on, so should something happen, I will chime in with that.
Alrighty. I got 2 screens of it. I don't think I need 2 screens, but whatever. At least it's better than yesterday when I had multiple screens of everything. I do see that Stephanie Vaquera is talking, and, you know, if somebody gets put through a table like they've done every once in a while, then, you know, we'll get that in there. But I should get rid of this marketplace thing on there. Redbubble and TeePublic, if you want to pick up your merchandise, there you go. Got rid of that. Now switch back over to the Evolution thing. See, Emilio's in the chat as well. Peter saying, holy crap, Naomi didn't see that coming. Emilio saying, least favorite thing, Natty lying there about being surprises in the Battle Royal.
Yeah. First of all, I wouldn't put that on Natty. I think Natty was just doing promotion, and Natty probably assumed, as we all did, that there'd be some surprises in this Battle Royal. I got burned like 3 times this weekend on Battle Royals, thinking, oh, we're certainly getting some surprises. But maybe that's good. Maybe we shouldn't precondition ourselves to expect surprises.
I was actually going into this not expecting surprises and got more out of it than I originally thought that I would. So I'll give them a little bit of credit on that front, because, like, I was not doing the what happened with Aaliyah?
Not Aaliyah, former WWE superstar, but in our Discord, which you should join, by the way, there's somebody named Aaliyah who, like, all day was just like, AJ Lee's coming back up.
Oh yeah, Aaliyah in the chat. Yeah, unfortunately, Aaliyah, you know, AJ Lee did not come back. I thought you were thinking Aaliyah the wrestler. Then I was like, Aaliyah Mysterio, Aaliyah, what, like, like
a lot of Aaliyahs in wrestling for some reason.
More than I thought. Yeah, there's at least 3 right there. But no, I was a little bit surprised more so with what we got, because they have a typo that I just see. Yeah, they had a typo on the screen. I just went back. They spelled receives wrong. Look at that, WWE.
Love that.
Learn to spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now fix your website first. No, I did not anticipate AJ Lee. I did not anticipate it to be anything other than we got, which was, a few times in the night they did the thing that they've been obsessed with doing lately, which is let's show you who's in the crowd. And it was, Jazz, Jacqueline, Alundra Blaze, Mark Henry, which I was like, wait, okay, what? And,
it's a real women's show now. Sexual chocolates in the building.
Right. Like, it makes sense. You get Leilani Kai and you get Maurice and you get, Tori Wilson and whatever. And I'm like, Mark Henry? Oh, okay. But I figured that would probably be it. I didn't think that we were going to get any, like, oh man, that's the in-ring return of even somebody that was even here tonight, like Melina, or like I didn't anticipate any of them would be in there. I guess the biggest surprise to me that they didn't show is that Mickey wasn't shown from what I saw.
Mickey wasn't shown.
Michelle McCool wasn't either.
Yeah, Kelly flat out said she turned down the offer. So,
Yeah. No Stacy Keibler either.
Maybe they weren't feeling it, Maybe they were like, hey, you announced it out of the blue. I don't...
Or it could be you didn't tell me enough in advance and I've got other shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that's, it's my kid's graduation or something. Like, But, I ended up like being more surprised by the end of the night than I anticipated. So, obviously the start of this was 2 hours worth of talking, and then the start of the actual pay-per-view was another 15 minutes of talking, which I was just like, Jesus Christ. I know you want to get Stephanie McMahon on here, and you want to do the, you want to do the thing where you give her a moment, but at the same time, it was just like, you just had 2 hours. What the fuck?
Is it weird to you that she's like going, it's almost like regressing, like now suddenly she's a host and she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna interview the winner of the battle royal, woohoo, wrestling. Like, okay, it's strange to me, that's all. I understand why. I understand she's not actually working for the company, but it's still weird.
It is weird that she's not coming out there and making a match or something.
Yeah,
it's like they could get her involved with something like that. Like, I think at this point, look, to be perfectly honest, we all know pro wrestling fans aren't the brightest bulbs. So it's like the believability of almost anything. Sure, you toss it our way. Fucking, of course, Mr. Iguana can hurt you more if he's got a little sock puppet or whatever the fuck, But I think that there's more than enough stock of Stephanie McMahon still just being Triple H's wife on top of Stephanie fucking McMahon that she could at any point do the whole thing that they've done with Legends. Even somebody comes up on Monday Night Raw and it's like, hey, Mick Foley's around, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna make a match tonight, and you're like, all right, and it's like, right, you're not the general manager. Stephanie could do the same thing. And and yes, I did, Peter, just call myself not one of the brightest bulbs either. I'm a pro wrestling fan. I'm dumb as it. But Stephanie could be like, okay, she's the one that says this match needs to be restarted, or she's the one that actually this is going to be a no DQ match or something. But I guess they figured that the best way to use her was intercut throughout the night and have Joe Tessitore just be like, so, like, I'm fucking great, right? And then she'd be like, yeah, that's great.
I think it's very clear she wants to dip her toe in and out. I think she's as grossed out by being a McMahon.
I barely know you.
I mean, I think she's as grossed out by being a McMahon as other people are for her at times. And it seems like she's being very careful not to take more of a leadership role, whether on or off screen.
Well, that's how they start. And then they get into the first match of the night, finally at like the 8:20 mark or whatever it was. And that was the triple threat for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch retaining over Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. At this point, I was pretty much like, all right, well, I expect Becky to retain. And I honestly wasn't super into the match because I was just waiting for the outcome in a lot of ways. So maybe I missed something decent. I was eating dinner at the time. That took a little bit more priority for me, honestly.
Well, we'll circle back to what you ate in a second. But I will say that this is my second favorite match of the night. This
Really?
was fantastic. This was fun. I thought these three women had great chemistry. You get to tell the story of like what Bayley and Becky mean to the division and this particular event. I thought it was really good, and I thought the ending was fun with Becky hitting a out of nowhere not small package, but a backslide for the win. And now she gets to move on as well. I hope she's moving on from these two at least.
Hopefully so. I don't really have a certain person in mind of like, well, it seems like she's feuding with this person, but I'm going to come back to that point.
Actually, now that, well, yeah, I'll come back to that too, because it might very well be one of the two women in the main event.
It very well could be. But here's another surprise that happened over the course of this. Jacy Jayne retained the NXT Women's Championship over Jordynne Grace. Now, when the match was starting, and they were showing this backstage footage of Blake Monroe being told or being asked by Jordynne Grace that she wants her to be in her corner tonight, and Blake Monroe was like, like, oh, I'd be honored to like be there. You sure you want me out there and whatever. When that was happening, that was when I was finishing up eating dinner, and I said to Caroline, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to rewrite an article probably, because I think that Blake Monroe is going to turn on Jordynne Grace, and I think that the pre-written up Jordynne Grace wins the title is not going to be something I spent my time on being worth it. And that's what happens. Jacy Jayne beats Jordynne Grace because Blake Monroe hits Grace with the title belt. And I don't know where they're going with this, because I guess it really is just Jacy Jayne is going to beat Masha Slamovich, right?
I would assume so.
Like, she's got Grace and maybe Blake Monroe still coming after her. They had Blake Monroe pin Jacy, I think, right, last night? Or yesterday?
Yeah.
So it was like that was setting up a match there. Do they just want to have a triple threat? And like drag this out more somehow? But they can't do that without that also taking place after the TNA thing. So is it going to be a triple threat where two titles are on the line? Like what?
I think, well, let me be clear. I thought when the bash ended, I thought they might try to force Blake into this match and then make Blake Monroe the NXT champion, which would make sense. Former AEW World Champion, still the most recent AEW World Champion aside from Tony Storm, making her the NXT champion. I thought that would have been the move. However, they did not do that. She's turned heel. It feels like Jacy could win, but it also feels like maybe TNA gets something out of the relationship for once, and Masha Slamovich is a short-term NXT Women's World Champion.
Maybe. And for it to be like, that's why you're not putting the belt on Grace still?
And that's the other...
I don't know. That's so weird to me.
That's the other beat I want to touch upon, because what was this, like her fourth shot?
Yeah. She had 2 chances against Stephanie Vaquer. Most recently was Battleground? And she was in the triple threat.
And she was against Roxy last year.
Yeah. Yeah, so last year's Battleground. Or yeah, I think Battleground. And then she might have had a match against I don't think she had a match against Julia. But didn't she have a match against like a couple other people in like another triple threat or something like that? She might have. I don't remember. It was at least this is her 4th, if not her 5th.
I'm gonna check just to be sure, but it feels like this is her 4th shot.
It's definitely her 4th, if not her 5th.
To me, it feels like at this point, just move on. She just doesn't win the belt. I don't want to see her toil away in NXT. She was she was set for the main roster already. You don't need to
put that stamp on her that she has to have had the NXT Women's Championship. And if you feel like you need to, then put the belt on her and just do it. Like, why are you dancing around it? Do they want to keep her longer in NXT? Where they want to, like, put the belt on Jordynne Grace, like, next year?
So she got the shot at Battleground last year, Stand and Deliver this year.
That was the triple threat, right?
That was a 4-way with Julia, Jada, and Stephanie. And then she got Stephanie one-on-one. And now she's lost it. Yeah, like, I'm not interested in seeing her challenge for a 5th time.
Mm-hmm. And I don't really care about the idea of Jacy Jayne versus Monster Slamovich. Like, I don't know. It's interesting, though, because maybe they do plan on just keeping this on Jacy. And I don't know. That's one of the more interesting scenarios came out of here, though. What was not particularly all that interesting for me was Ricardo Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez just retained the women's tag team titles. They beat Kabuki Warriors, Zaruca, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. It's whatever.
This was, I disagree. This was particularly interesting to me because the crowd was actually fairly good. Unless they were piping in noise, the crowd was actually really on their feet for several bits of the show. And this match was one of the strong points because they loved themselves some Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair is entering a new phase where, especially after the Players Tribune article published, people are like respecting her and really just like she's getting her flowers right now. And I would have just pulled the trigger on them. It was frustrating for me that like Judgment Day has been a thing in many different iterations for like 2.5 years.
More than that.
Yeah, probably more than that. But
remember,
like now
this whole Judgment Day started with Edge.
Now you want, yeah, that's right. 3.5 years. Jesus Christ!
It's but like, more than that, isn't it?
No, it's 3.5. It started.
When was
WrestleMania. It started at WrestleMania in 2022.
Huh.
But yeah, like now you want to give Judgment Day a strong win. Now you want to give Raquel Rodriguez a strong win, where she throws everybody out of the ring and slams the shit out of a double champion Sol Ruca and pins her. Like, okay, sure. That's a little frustrating for me, but I'm guessing Flair and Bliss, the We're Not Friends friendly tag team, wins the titles at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I still think that that's probably going to happen, but I guess that they figured we have to keep it on Raquel and Roxanne a little bit longer, so that way they're not immediately losing the titles. But SummerSlam has a lot of time that it needs to fill with 2 cards, and I don't know, I guess you can't count 30-something plus minutes for Jelly Roll.
And 2 weeks to go, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those and who knows about Rollins, you know, how much they have to change the card and all. But
let's talk about that real quick. They did announce that there will be a gauntlet match tomorrow night on Raw to determine who will face Gunther at SummerSlam. That's exciting.
CM
Punk, LA Knight, Penta,
Jey Uso, Penta, and Braun Breaker. So right. I'm assuming that Braun Breaker starts running through the gauntlet and loses to Punk.
Yeah. Even like just exactly what like Punk did with Wardlow, where he gets decimated and then rolls him up Bret Hart style, and he's going to SummerSlam.
So we're gonna come back to the SummerSlam thing. Not surprising, Tiffany Stratton retained the WWE Women's Championship over Trish Stratus, and I'm looking at the post show right now that's going on. Trish is banged up.
Yeah, maybe it was Tiffy time.
Yeah,
she got a little banged up. I enjoyed this match a lot. Like it was quick, but it hit every beat it needed to. And Trish always brings the consistency. She's as good as she was at her best in her prime, if not better.
So that was not an outcome that anybody was like going to be shocked about. That was something we were all like, all right, well, Stratton's going to retain it. Then what do we do for SummerSlam? So technically speaking, that's still set up Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. Now, Jade Cargill follows Tiffany Stratton. She beats Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. Perfectly fine match. I wouldn't anticipate this to be the best hardcore match we've ever seen. So I wasn't going into it with that idea.
Not after last night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not going to be a Texas Death Match. But, they did fine.
This was such a straightforward match. Like, Bianca, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler be such a straightforward referee ever.
Yeah, not get involved, not do she took it seriously. Meanwhile, she had a EST on her outfit and everything. And was wearing fishnets.
I think I've only ever seen Shawn Michaels take it this seriously, and even he usually gets involved in the finish. That was so weird. But it was a good match. It was Jade's best match in WWE. I feel comfortable saying that. Yeah,
I would agree. And Emilio in the chat's like, Bianca did nothing for the match. But I actually kind of like that for a change of pace.
She seemed to show concern for both women, but it was sort of like, what are you doing? You haven't done shit since WrestleMania. We need Bianca. What's going on here?
Maybe she was just like, man, this is going to be real fun. I get to be a referee today.
I made my shirt. I made my outfit. I'm just gonna call it down the middle.
It's like, when an actor just gets the ability to I get to play the villain this time, that kind of thing or something.
Or when an S tier celebrity is suddenly just in a bit part, and they're like, yeah, I'm really excited to just be part of the
goofy
furniture. But no, it was a really fun match. But this show, genuinely, really fun. Not oh man, you need to watch it right now, but really fun.
Very lighthearted. Even with villains winning and stuff, it's they kept it as a celebratory thing. I still don't think that it comes across as celebratory as it in some ways should be. But yeah, grandstanding alone and without the Lyra Valkyria really matured so much in this division. She's gone from a girl to a woman. I was like, oh, can you give me a fucking break?
Who said that?
They said that during that match.
That sounds like the speed of culture.
I think that it was Cole. I don't remember. It might not have been Cole. It might have been Barrett, actually. But one of the commentators said that.
That sounds like the speed of culture to me. That sounds gross and corporate sloth.
God forbid they were talking about Thea Hale. They would have started to be and she became a woman on this day, and so Jade beats Naomi, and then there's the Battle Royal. Now, the Battle Royal, if I have my notes up correctly, here were the orders of the eliminations. The whole order of everybody coming out and whatever, there wasn't any surprises. So, it's not like this matters to be and then there was this person. Oh my God, whatever like that. It's not like Royal Rumble. So everybody's in there at the same time. It goes Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame, Ivy Nile.
Immediately. Hold on.
Tatum Paxley, yeah.
Immediately gets thrown out of the ring. What the fuck?
Yeah, a leaf that was caught in there and needed to get out or something. So Paxley, Dame, Ivy Nile, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kalani Jordynne, who did a thing with the you gotta save yourself in the Royal Rumble bit.
She did a Kofi. She did
a Kofi, a John Morrison, since he did before Kofi.
She's now going to be bestowed upon that role of athletic person who will save themselves from Battle Royal.
You can't do it with Casey. She's not there anymore. Naomi's not doing that anymore. She's a heel, so they're gonna do that to the heel. So yeah, Kalani Jordynne does a back handstand, gets back into the ring. I was happy that she didn't immediately get thrown out, because they do that all the time. As soon as you get back into the ring, you celebrate and somebody clotheslines you or something. But she, next up, Jada Parker. I was happy that the crowd was doing a little bit of the Miss Parker. They weren't fully into it because she is an NXT girl, so they weren't tapped in 100%.
But by the end of it, by the time she gets thrown out, they were pissed. And it was BFAB and Michin who threw her out, and they were pissed. So call her up. Call up Jada, call up Kalani. They're ready. And they're fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely need to be added to that main roster.
I mean, even somebody like a Lash Legend, I think she's kind of proven herself pretty ready. And
as Trick Williams would say, let's talk about it, because who was the last person eliminated in this battle royal?
Yeah, so
Lash Legend.
After Kalani, Jordynne, and Jada Parker, it's Lola Vice, so you're just getting all of the NXT women out. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then Lash is probably next. And then it's Zelina Vega, who did not look happy.
The whole time, right?
The entire time
night.
She had an angry face.
It seemed like she was pissed off.
Either she was legitimately pissed off, or she's trying to play a little bit more of a character, being really pissed off after losing the championship. Because she did have darker lipstick.
And she did eliminate Julia, which I didn't like personally. But, like, she eliminated Julia. She did seem upset, though, by the time she gets eliminated.
It was Candice LeRae, who temporarily teamed a little bit back up with Nia Jax. So, little reference to what they were doing. BFAB, Michin, Chelsea Green. Man, I felt a little bit disappointed at first when they were announcing these people, because they did every one of them get their own announcement and entrance. They were like, heading into the Battle Royal or whatever is accompanied by Piper Niven and Alba Fire, Chelsea Green. And it's like, yeah, all three of them were in the match. But
yeah, it was weird that they were like accompanied by the Secret Hermit. They're in the match.
Be like, entering the Battle Royal, the Green Regime, Alba Fire, Piper Niven, and Chelsea Green. No, they're just... But those three get eliminated, and it's down to Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Lash Legend, and Stephanie Vaquer. And I was getting a little bit at this. I was like, maybe they are just going to go with Nikki. I don't think that they are, but maybe they are, because Lash will be next, eliminated, and then it'll be Nia with Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki. And I could see Nia taking out Vaquer and then Nikki getting like and she kicks them both down or something. Like, I was kind of like planning that out in my head. But Nikki Bella gets taken out eventually. Nia Jax is there with Lash Legend, and Stephanie Vaquer ends up being Lash and Stephanie. And at that point I was like, all right, well, it can't be Lash. It's got to be Stephanie then. But
Nikki Bella taken out by Lash Legend. Like, they put a spotlight on Lash.
Mm-hmm.
Which says to me that maybe a certain somebody will be getting a heater pretty soon in the form of Lash Legend, because they put her over strong.
I didn't really draw that analogy yet, but I could see that. I could say that. So that was, Battle Royals are fun. I enjoy that. And the main event comes around, and it's Rhea Ripley versus...
Before we move on from the Battle Royal, I do want to point out there are moments... Well, yeah, I'm going to point out about that as well. But there are moments where, Battle Royals is like, oh, look at this spot, look at that spot. Two spots in this Battle Royal were Stephanie doing the devil's kiss, which Wade Barrett lovingly calls the bouncy bouncy. She did it twice. That's how she actually eliminated Lash. But she also got to do it. Was it on Nikki Bella? It might have been on Nikki Bella, and whole crowd is just lit up for the move. There's also a spot where, like, Lola and Nikki Bella get to do the little twirl and ass shake thing, and I'm like, wow, of all the spots we could have past and present getting together, let's do the ass shake. Cool. But yeah, Stephanie McCare wins, and she's just interviewed by Stephanie McMahon, who takes the time to go, I speak Spanish. Like, just puts herself over, asks Stephanie a question in Spanish, and Stephanie Vaquer sticks the landing and says, hey, English isn't my first language, but wrestling is. And immediately everybody was like, that's a line. Put it on a shirt. Stephanie is a fucking star. And this was the move. And I don't know who she's fighting at Clash in Paris at the moment, but she stands a good chance of winning at Clash in Paris.
A lot of things changed around towards the end here. That Rhea Ripley and Io Sky have their match for the Women's World Championship in the main event, and they have a damn good match. It's going to be on my list of potential matches of the year. As expected, like they've always had great chemistry together, so that wasn't shocking. And
maybe they're born with it.
The result happens that, like Peter just put in the chat, referee Jessica Carr gets knocked into, not knocked down, and she's out for what, 15 minutes. It's like they start battling all around the arena, and I'm like thinking to myself, if you wanted this to be an ODQ match, you could have just announced this as an ODQ match. Like people would have gotten hyped for that. And I guess they want to do that without not, they did the no holds barred match, so maybe they didn't want to announce 2 of those or something. But they had a great match, and then once it got to, I forget like what point in like the night it was, in 10:05 or point being very toward ends of the match, something that happened that you called attention to before we got started recording. They did a certain like angle.
It was very Kevin Dunn. Mm-hmm. Hey, shoot the fucking ramp because Naomi's coming out to cash in her briefcase.
As soon as that happened, it was the same sort of gut feeling as I had with the Blake Monroe thing earlier in the night, where I was just like, oh shit, I'm going to have to redo that article I pre-wrote about Rhea Ripley winning. And I'm going to have to do this about Naomi. And lo and behold, Naomi's music hits. She comes out. She hits Io Sky with the briefcase, pins her. She's stolen that opportunity from Rhea. She's the new champion. Our Miss Money in the Bank is now switching from SmackDown over to Raw. And that got me thinking. The Queen of the Ring was established as you get a match against the champion of your brand.
Mm.
What if the draft is actually coming and the draft is happening before SummerSlam?
That would mean the draft has to take place next week.
I could see that potentially happening. And if that's not the case, I think we might be in a scenario where they might do that stupid thing that they did with Backlash once or twice, where it's like, we're going to do like wrap up some feuds or start some new feuds or whatever, and it's going to be that we do a draft, but we're not going to call it as like official for one more pay-per-view
until after SummerSlam,
like something like that. But if they want to do that, that could be the way that they do Jade Cargill and Naomi. But more so, I don't think that that's going to happen, and they're going to go Jade Cargill Naomi. I think that Stephanie Vaquer winning might already signal that Naomi is still going to be champion at Clash in Paris.
So who does she fight at SummerSlam?
I think she fights Io and Rhea in a rematch. Because they end up going, oh, okay, well, you did sort of steal the Money in the Bank, and the momentum was heading towards Rhea, but Io wants a rematch anyway because she gets the rematch clause. So we do a triple threat, and maybe Naomi retains the title and she ends up defending against Stephanie Vaquer, and they want to go with Stephanie Vaquer instead. Or maybe by that time, Stephanie Vaquer has already been shifted to the other roster, because they haven't said that Clash in Paris is for that championship. They just said you get a title match at Clash in Paris.
Right. So
that could be, well, she fights the SmackDown champion, and the SmackDown champions, whoever it might be. Because I'm like, you want to do Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill? That's the match you're going to go for? I'm very surprised about that.
I think I'm beginning to think it might be. And the only one that throws me off here is that Bayley got pinned and not Lyra. Because I could see them pivoting to Bayley, Naomi, as they're friends. It's an easy story for Naomi to get a win.
Because at this point, I don't think that Bianca is going to be ready to go. And Peter brings up a good point in the chat. He says they do need to get Jimmy to Raw. But
they do need to get Jimmy to Raw, but Jay is on Raw.
But Jimmy with Naomi.
Right, but I'm saying you can get there by doing an Uso reunion. Maybe Uso's Judgment Day.
And it could just be a trade scenario. It doesn't need to be the full draft. But
or are we not thinking? And the move's actually going to be
Tiffany to Raw. That could very well happen. And if that happens, again, it could just be a one trade over. We couldn't have two champions over on SmackDown. So I talked it over, I being Adam Pearce. I talked it over with SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis, and we decided that Tiffany Stratton would negotiate a trade over to Raw, and maybe they even trade somebody over with Naomi. Maybe it's Tiffany Stratton's coming over here, and we will do an announcement later on for the trade that we give back. They did that before, remember? So and it was something 7 weeks or whatever, and then it was oh yeah, by the way, the trade was Elias or something. Some kind of dumb shit.
Well, we know yes, I do remember that you mentioned that. We know LA Knight's on Raw now.
He's been showing up on Raw more often, and it's that's the opposite.
He's in the match now to determine Gunther's next challenger. So you could have Naomi and LA Knight get traded for, or LA Knight's Raw, Naomi stays on SmackDown, and then you get Tiffany to Raw, and maybe a Jade to SmackDown. I don't know. There's a way to do it.
Well, Jade's already on SmackDown too. SmackDown would just be losing everybody.
No, Jay Uso.
Oh, Jay. I think you said Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Jay. It goes to SmackDown, and that could be their way of doing a Jey Uso John Cena match too, or something they can play into that pretty easily.
Or Uso's Wyatt family, Wyatt Six. Sorry.
Yeah. Or just keep doing Jey Uso versus Solo Sikoa.
Or doing Samoans fight Samoans till the end of time.
Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Jacob Fatu against Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, Which would be, isn't that weird that it's not Jimmy J and Solo?
At some point, it'll be wait, what the fuck? Yeah, wait. At some point, Lance Adewale will join that mix, and it'll be 4-on-4 again. Because Samoans will fight till the end of time.
Yep.
That's possible.
And then you're going to get them against Wyatt Six, and we're going to come back around that.
This Raw is going to be very interesting because they're falling ass backwards into a lot of stuff. You got to figure out Seth. Mm-hmm. Punk's probably getting a shot at the WWE title or the world title at SummerSlam. You got this women's situation. It at least means, hey, maybe I want to tune into TV for the first time in a while.
What do you think about the rumor going around that Gunther is scheduled to be Cena's last match?
I don't care. You gotta rehab this Cena thing.
I don't think that that's thinking ahead. I think that the people that put that rumor around aren't remembering that Crown Jewel happens. Because Crown Jewel Perth is champion versus champion. It's the entire point of the Crown Jewel match. They can't go around doing that. So I think that that's when you get Cena.
Beating Cody? I mean, we'll talk more in depth in 2 weeks. But do you
wait, no. That's right. Cody's going to win before SummerSlam. Yeah, no. No, so never mind. Maybe it is Gunther that ends up being Cena's last.
I can see it being Cena loses to Cody, and then Cena turns immediately babyface, and we try to salvage whatever's left of this run. But if they keep him heel, I can't see it being Gunther.
No. But I think it's going to be Cody beats Cena. Now that I'm, got my brain back on. Cody beats Cena. We get Cody Gunther again at Crown Jewel. Gunther wins this time. Because Cody won the last one. You know what I mean? Makes sense. And then, like, by that point, we maybe probably do get John Cena against, like, a Drew McIntyre or something like that. It's probably turned babyface. And, yeah, it probably does end with Gunther. That's surprising. I don't know. I don't see it. I think there's a chance. Because, I mean, if you give Gunther, Goldberg, and Cena's final matches, like, that's a made man. He should already be a made man, but you know what I mean. But yeah, they love Gunther, though.
They do love Gunther. But
I think it's happening. Yeah.
I wanted to see it at Mania, so I could see. I mean, like, it's definitely a match that should happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how do you get there? Especially how do you get there after this weird year? It's a weird run for John.
I think it's just he turns babyface at SummerSlam, and then it's, now I get to go fight all the bad guys. And everybody just goes with it, like, within a week.
It's better than, final match R-Truth.
He could end up teaming back up with R-Truth even. Doing some kind of tag match.
It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see where they go with it. I kind of want to get through SummerSlam already just because I saw the Cody thing already. I can't believe John has like 14 appearances left or whatever. Like, it's a little scary how close we are to the end. And I want to see them pull the nose up and stick the landing.
So in the chat, I'm Josh says, I think this pay-per-view was a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah, I was really hard on this show initially because it felt for the first like 2/3 that they were sprinting through the card.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be done by like 9:15 or something.
And then like suddenly they just like everybody slowed down, but it felt for a minute like they were just going to run through everything. But overall, I think it is good. I feel a little foolish now for some of the posts I put on Blue Sky where I said flat out, it seems like they don't care about the women's division because, again, they were running through the card. And I was like, I've seen 4 match cards that stretch out for 4 hours. But apparently they did have Io and Rhea going for a half an hour with a cash-in finish. So maybe that's why. But fun show, like I told Tony before we started, second best of the weekend. And it wasn't even a close, like, this is miles ahead of NXT and Saturday Night's Main Event, and All In is on a different stratosphere. Like, that was just a different show.
Yeah. That's easily the best show of the weekend. And as much as there were some positives in this, it still doesn't come close. But it was a better show than the other two. And, they got some pretty damn interesting things coming out of it. So I consider that a win. And I'm curious where they go with not only the Seth Rollins stuff that we mentioned, because like that has no factor in this one, but like if they're going to recalibrate some of that stuff, and then they've got this Naomi thing and whatever, maybe we're looking at a draft or something, and it's going to be interesting. So, overall, I give it a thumbs up, and of course, we're going to break down any other stuff that comes out of this over the coming, hot tags and whatever we see from Monday Night Raw, from SmackDown, NXT. Probably know people from NXT get called up or something. Maybe Jordynne Grace gets called up already. Crazier things happen. But make sure you check out whatever we got coming your way next. I don't remember if we have like a main event scheduled for this week in mind that we were planning on doing.
I think we might end up doing Superstar Squares Adam Cole.
We might end up having to do that. Slammiversary is happening, so we're going to get into predictions in some way. I don't know if we're gonna do like a separate video for that or if we're just gonna put that in the hot tags. I didn't plan on making that a separate one at the very least. If you want us to do that, let us know. Yeah, I mean, Rob and I will hop on after NXT or something if you really want it. I did want to do that Darkcast of the King of Queen of the Ring and whole Marvel DC thing that I had done that I didn't really finish, and then I could explain why and show what all that is. By the way, for anybody that's curious, Superman fucking great movie.
Wow, it's so woke.
Yeah, that's from the people that are like, I never realized that Superman was an immigrant and it wasn't saying be a good person. I love how
I never realized that Superman was about being good. Like, yeah. What?
Very, very good movie. That is currently my number one favorite movie that I've seen this year. Number 2 being Life of Chuck. Number 3 being Sinners. And I guess 4 would be Companion, maybe. Companion was really good too.
I gotta see all those.
The Superman one I definitely recommend. It's I would say, and people are going to be very, like, oh my god, give me a break about this. But I never thought that the original Christopher Reeve was a particularly great movie.
Well,
I think that this is better. And kudos to James Gunn for that. If anybody was curious what I was eating for dinner, since you said we're going to come back around to that, it was leftover Domino's.
Well, it's gotta be Domino's. But I actually just had a New York bagel. Some family went to New York and they brought me back bagels because that's something I ask for regularly, which you probably take for granted for.
See, in Jersey, we always had good bagels. So I grew up with it, like, wearing that pizza belt scenario.
Florida can't do it. Florida cannot do it. Pizza, you can get good pizza here if you go to a local chain. Bagels, no.
I haven't ever tried a bagel in Florida other than like a free continental breakfast. So it doesn't really count. But
like a Thomas's.
I don't remember ever having good pizza in Florida.
Because you need to go to a local. Like you need to land in Tampa and go to Eddie and Sam's or something. But
at the very least, I do remember that when I was in Florida, one of the times when I went to Disney for my senior trip in high school, that now, of course, I'm from New Jersey, but I'm from the Philly area. So I'm used to Philly cheesesteaks. And like when I'm walking around in New York, by the way, and I see all these little carts and it says Philly cheesesteak, motherfucker, that does not have peppers on it.
Okay,
stop putting peppers on these.
I agree. I don't like when my cheesesteak has peppers.
Yeah, that's not a Philly cheesesteak. You go to a Philly place, you get cheese whiz, onions, and that's it. It's that. By the way,
you got Rob and Tony talking about snacks for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's 11:26. But like, I went to the park and I thankfully did not make the mistake of ordering the cheesesteak because I saw what people had. They had like a literal steak, like on a roll with slices of American cheese on top.
Like a steak-um kind of deal?
No, like if you were to take like a sirloin and like,
hey.
Kind of, but like not obviously a good cut. So some kind of chuck meat or something.
Yeah, like some kind of like eye of round or something.
Right, and it was just like, what the fuck are they doing in Disney? But I don't know how we got onto this topic, but
so what we're saying is Naomi is the new women's world champion.
Yeah. And if you like these, then you like the Darkcast tier. That's how it's actually a really smart plug this whole time for the Darkcast tier, where you get more random discussions like that. Anyway, we weren't at the hour mark. Now we're at 49 minutes, so it's a little bit closer too. But yeah, praising the show and all that. I don't know how this is factoring in for the fantasy league going forward. The pros and cons of everybody's teams and stuff. I'm sure Callum will track it. Go to WWEFantasyLeague.com and see how that plays out. I still don't know if I'm going to trade Seth Rollins for anybody in particular, but he is probably leaving my team tomorrow. And
somebody just said he's getting an MRI tomorrow, so we'll know more about Rollins tomorrow.
hopefully good news. And that's going to do us in for Evolution. So stay tuned. Toss your ideas our way. If you want something in particular for the main event, we'll all factor that in. And we will see you when we see you. But for now, this has been another Smark Out moment. Oh, wait. I didn't give you a chance to plug. Did I? I didn't plug myself.
Yeah, you know where to find me. I'm at Dude Fleece everywhere. I'm trying so hard to find the energy to get back into just self-made content because I want a little bit more of me in my stuff because I like the silly things I do here with Tony and stuff like that. So the more support I get, the more likely it is that stuff like that will come. But yeah, I'm at Dude Fleece everywhere, and you guys know you can find me at Fightful.com with Sean Ross Sapp and the great team over there.
You can find me at amangotree.com or anthonymango.com on all those different things if you do want more of like my letterboxd or whatever. I don't really leave reviews for things all that often, but you can see my ratings for different movies. So follow me on those accounts and everything else. And yeah, we'll see you with whatever the main event ends up being for this week. But thank you for joining us for the live chat. I hope that the shawarma was good, Josh. And,
love shawarma.
Yeah, the shawarma was pretty good. Yeah, that's some good shawarma in New York over here, but that's for sure. Tell us what you thought about Snack Talk, and we'll see you next time, everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.